So, welcome everyone to my very first podcast, Closers Club, and I am super excited to have the amazing top producer, female entrepreneur, Jolie Liedekkers, with me today. Such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I am honored to be here on your very first and my very first podcast ever.
Love it. Beautiful. So, Jolie, I want to deep dive into it right away because I have so many questions and I'm sure everybody would like to know more about you. So tell us about yourself and how your journey started.
Okay. Thank you. I am as of next year I will have been in this business for 20 years. I don't know where the time goes, but 20 years as a licensed realtor. I'm from here. I'm a local. I like to say I know every grain of sand here in the desert. I am a twin sister and a fraternal twin, so people don't even think we are related. 21 long minutes, my mom says, in that labor and delivery.
Wow.
Long minutes.
Oh.
No epidural. My story basically starts my father passed away when my sister and I were in the 8th grade. So we were about 12 years old, and my mom raised us by herself. She worked her hiney off, basically. She worked 5 jobs at once. One of them was Keaty's. Diner. Yeah, so we spent a lot of time at Keaty's Diner. And I just grew up watching her like leave at sun up and not come down to she did not come home until late. And that's just something that I witnessed a lot as I was growing up. She never said, Jolie, work hard. I just knew no other way. And so, I was living in Orange County with my husband and daughter at the time. And we were like, you know what? Let's get a fun project. Let's just get a house that we can a weekender house because I miss the desert so bad. And he's like, let's have a weekender. We got our first house. The real estate transaction was a hot mess. The realtor was awful to us. Like, she was just very condescending and mean. She actually made me cry, which is a hard thing to do. And so I was like, you know what? I was finding these properties by myself, and I'm like, well, if this lady can do it, I can do it and save the goodly people of ill treatment. And so I got my license mainly just because he and I were doing this for ourselves.
Yes.
And, then he and I got a divorce. I moved Thea back here to the desert. I wanted to give her the childhood as similar to what I had. I love growing up in a small town. And I just applied that crazy work ethic that I witnessed my mom, as I was growing up into real estate. And here we are. A workaholic was born. I didn't know I was becoming this crazy workhorse, but here we are.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful. So how has your journey been? From the very first transaction you made and where you are right now.
Okay. I basically did not know a thing. I did not know what I was doing. I was flying by the seat of my pants. I had no training. This is before, maybe I don't even know if Facebook was around back then. I know certainly Instagram wasn't a thing, but I think it was MySpace. Do you remember that? MySpace? Okay.
A long time ago, most likely. Yes.
Very long. But I would go on there and be like, everybody, I'm getting my license. And I would kind of
put yourself out there for people to
join
your journey.
Me. So I'm getting I got my license. Okay, signed up today. So I kind of just shared my journey, but because I know so many people here in the valley and I come from the valley, I had instant business.
Exactly.
But I did not know what I was doing. And so I didn't, we worked for some brokerage that wasn't even local. A friend of mine and Brandy Nelson, who's an amazing.
Yes.
We started the same place. Oh my gosh. So I'm like, what is this contract? What am I doing? And so you know what I did? I just would approach things with complete honesty and transparency, and I would tell my clients, I'm like, I'm new.
Which takes a lot of guts to really accept the fact that you are really not faking. I think this is one of the great things that I love about you.
Thank you.
You're a natural person.
And you know what? That's rare because this business, it's a lot of fakey.
Exactly.
But I was just like, you know what? I know real estate. I know what you want. I know this house. I know we're going to find out. And if I don't know an answer, I'll find out.
I'll get back to you.
I got on the phone with, I think it was Carlos Pena or somebody. I don't remember. A really nice realtor. And I was like, I'm new. Be nice.
Yes, be nice to me.
Help me. But look, everybody was like, I think if you approach things with like up your heart and like honesty, it worked. And so every transaction I would learn something. And my
Exactly,
clients,
get better and better.
yeah, they didn't seem too concerned. They knew that I kind of like just would get an answer if I didn't know an answer. And so I just like learned by doing, literally. But I can tell you, I was flying by the seat of my pants at first.
which is great. So looking at how you started and
Yeah.
where you are. By the way, my question is, so even though you know the valley and you knew a lot of people, how did these people find you, like to do real estate transactions with you?
I literally was telling everybody. And
Everybody from
that,
like word of mouth.
yes.
Like, okay.
Well, I was using MySpace, and then I think Facebook came out. I think it started in Facebook maybe in 2004, and I was licensed right around there. And so I was telling everybody, and so people were like, "What is Facebook?" And then we were connecting, and so I was using the social
Leveraging
platform.
those platforms.
Yeah, and I mean it's a free platform, and why not?
not?
So I have been using that. First of all, I love the business. And I got into this business before it was glamorous and like, televised and all that stuff because I really love real estate. I love where we live. And it's easy to sell where you
Yes.
live. And so I was just telling people. So this is something I would tell people that are getting into the business. It was good advice given to me. Have 5 business cards given out a day if you're out and about. Like if you go to the same Pilates class and instructor, I'm a new realtor. If you ever need anything, no pressure. The same guy at Stater Brothers, I'd always go to his lane because he was so sweet. He was like a grandpa. Hey, if you ever need anything,
I love it.
you just try to give like your card out to 5 people that you might know and see as an acquaintance or whatever. You just never know. And that's what I was doing too.
So how are they going to avoid the feel of like I'm trying to sell something to people? Like what is the mindset that you have when you had this like 20 years ago when you first started business? Like what is the mindset of someone who just started in real estate and trying to put the word out? Like how did you get over that salesy, I'm gonna, like that approach?
I never really approached things conventional like that. I was just like
Organically.
I love people's story. And so, and everybody, as you know, you're a really great producer too. I know. Don't be shy, girl. I love people's stories, so I like to think that we're kind of like a detective or something, where people, or maybe a psychologist, where somebody comes and says, I'm moving, I'm having a baby, we need more space, I'm going through a divorce. We're these like, we get their story,
Yes.
like, and how can we help you? We get all the clues and pieces, like where do we need to go, what do we need to do, and roll our sleeves up and do. So I would just, and then I would start
genuinely connecting with them for the needs
Absolutely.
that they have at the time being.
and listening to them. And I've never been that person that's like, fancy cars and like, oh, look at me. Oh, there's a lot of that. That's not me. I keep it real. Did you need a house?
Very directly.
Yeah. Do you need a house? You have to sell a house? I will work from morning until midnight that night.
Until I find you that house.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's just an organic approach. And then, farming and all of the things, postcards. I used to walk and I never door knocked. I was too chicken for that. And I've never, ever to this day in 20 years made a cold call. Ever. I'm one of those only realtors that don't do the programs expireds. I'm too chicken for that. And luckily I have a good sphere of influence.
Yes. I think it's a great, you were able to get away with that.
Yeah.
Making the cold calls. That is great. Yeah. Beautiful. So talking about the, like getting into real estate 20 years ago from a mom who was such a hard worker, having a great role model, you and your sister, you got married, you have a beautiful daughter who's extremely skilled, right? She
Yeah.
has a, tell me about your achievements while in this journey, like being a real estate agent, like how were you able to leverage real estate and add more onto your entrepreneurship?
I basically got into real estate because I wanted to continue to prioritize my life as a mother. That was my number one goal in life. Like everybody in school was like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be this. I wanted to be a mother, and that was my absolute passion.
Priority.
So I got into real estate because of the financial freedom that you can make if you're successful. You can be as successful as you work, as hard as you want to work, and also mainly the hours. So I was still able to be a mom to her, pick her up, drop her off while she's gone, just work forget about a shower, forget about a food, like work, and then she's here, stop, prioritize the moments that go so fast, as you know.
I know. Yeah.
So my daughter is now 23. She is an interior designer. She went and graduated out of Newport Beach from the IDI Institute, Interior Design Institute.
Beautiful.
And we now have a company together. This is probably my biggest achievement, I'd say. It's called Wild Palm, a mother-daughter flipping business. And so Thea was literally born into the business. We did our first flip when she was 1 in diapers, holding a hot dog.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
She was born into this business. And so I did try to get her licensed, and she's like, nah, not for me. Just like my sister, not for me. You know, you have to have the gift of gab, be able to talk to people. And
It is, yes, yes. You can be hardworking, but being an extrovert and literally doing this is a different kind of personality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong way, but
yeah,
for sure.
I feel like realtors, you either have it or you don't. I think if it, you have to have a genuine love for what you do and people.
Exactly.
Selling isn't hard when you sell what you love. And you know
Just
how it
comes
is when we
naturally.
show this house that's like on the golf course and the views and the mountains. It's like, basically it's like, do we really get to do this for a living? It's
I know.
such a joy and such a pleasure.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then now we're flipping houses. We do that on the side. My main thing is real estate. And flipping is just like 1 or 2 a year. I had 4 going at one time, and I was not sleeping. It was too stressful.
Too
I
much.
was
Yeah.
financing it myself, and I'm like, it's top ramen for us tonight. No.
Yeah, and you know what? You literally have to go through this in order to understand what is your sweet spot, right? You
That's
like to
right.
do 2 a year, which you enjoy without getting the stress.
Right. Yep. And right now that's, the market's hard. Like everybody has seen HGTV and they want to be a flipper, and so
All of a sudden,
right.
yes.
And so now like people are overpricing homes, and they don't pencil for where the inflation and the cost for goods and services and contractors are too high. The cost to acquire is too high, so it's not really easy to acquire them right now. But we're trying still. We're always keeping our eyes open.
That is great. Yeah, beautiful.
you.
So, what would be the not one or maybe more, like, what will be the tips that you will give to any real estate agent when they start this business?
So I would say to give your business card out 5 times a day. If you're out and
It's the
about,
biggest.
try to just, I think one of the biggest travesties is when people just simply don't know what you are, and then they don't know what you're doing,
You exist.
Yeah, then like, hey, I do real estate now, your favorite Pilates instructor, yoga instructor, person you see at Ralph's, and talk to people. Just be nice and say hi and talk to people. I'm a huge supporter of small businesses here. I think you probably see I'm always
Yes.
posting and trying
Yes.
to, and when I do get a commission, I will go over and try to get something from these people, because our desert is small and the businesses are hard during the summer. They feel their, struggles during the
Exactly.
summer. So talk to these people. And hey, I no pressure. If you ever need a realtor, and just let people know, slide a card, let them know what you do. I would get a good farm system down. People might not know what farm is. Farm is basically you pick a location and you start mailing, pieces. I've never done the cold call thing. I've never done the expired
What is your
thing.
favorite area for farming?
I love North La Quinta. It's where I raised. You should always do where you live, I think. I raised Thea there because of the schools. And it's just easy. And then letting people know, hey, just listed this car, hey, everybody, I'm having an open house. Come on over. No perverts, please. Oh, I've had the perverts. Oh, have I had the perverts? I have to get my license for a gun, CCW.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I had this one guy who would not leave. He kept asking for hugs. Yeah. I've been locked into open houses. Oh, I got stories for days. But
Oh
anyways.
my God. Okay, so tell me one of the most scariest story that you experienced in real estate.
One time I got a call. I was new in the business. I was so excited. This guy said, "Hey, can I see this house?" It was like 700, and at the time I had been selling nothing but like 200,000, and that's
That's
my
high
deal.
percentage,
Yeah.
yes.
So I was like, "Yep," and I had no vetting. Didn't screen him at all, which is a newbie mistake. We have to know who we're showing houses to. It's not safe.
Yes.
And so I showed up, and out of this car were like 5 muscle dudes with their muscle tank tops and everything, just hopping out, like looked like they came from the gym. And I was like, not judging, but I had a feeling.
Yes.
and a gut
Your
feeling.
gut feeling.
Women have a
Ah.
gut feeling. And so I was like, oh, hey, I'm going to, I forgot my key, but it's right around the corner at this office. I'm going to go grab it. And so I left, and my boyfriend at the time had his license, came, and he pulled up, and they're like, oh, it's a dude. Come on, let's go. And they all just got into the car. And that was a vacant house I was showing.
Oh, yeah.
That scared me, but I also have been locked into an open house.
How come?
A couple came in, a man and a woman came in, locked the door behind them. And they were so close in the way they were talking to me, and one was sort of distracting, and I couldn't see where the other one was going, and it was really creepy. And just kind of like following me around the island of the kitchen and stuff. So
You get that feeling, right? Like when something is not normal.
And so, just because I have my CCW doesn't mean I want to use it, So I got out of the house and stood outside. I had a guy very disgruntled confronting me about the price one time, like really angry. And then the hugger was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm good on the hugs. Thank you.
Oh my God. Crazy stories and real estate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So, I am curious to know this. Okay. This is very important because you already mentioned it, but having relationships, and not only your relationship with the community, but also your relationship with the agents. I would love you to tap into it because this is a relationship business.
Yeah.
Like, how did you leverage your relationships for real estate?
So I was kind of just known as people were watching me as this like single mom, very honest and authentic with my business. I wasn't doing any kind of gimmicky things in fancy car commercials or whatever. Like, hey, look at me, look at me. I was just like, hey, let me help you. And then as I was moving through and getting business with people, I was just getting friendships made with the realtors. I mean, every now and then you'll have. I feel like today it's different. It seems as though, and I don't know if you experience this, but it seems like the realtors make it harder than even the buyers and sellers sometimes. And I don't know why that is, why we can't all just sit back and check the egos and say, look, we're all trying to accomplish the same goal.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Why, sometimes the realtors are putting bad ideas into the buyers' heads and fear that's not necessarily warranted or whatnot. So every now and then there's a challenge there, but I have been lucky having done this so long that I know like all the realtors,
Yes.
all of them.
Yes.
And there's only like a small few that I'm like, oh no.
I know. The bad apple. Yes.
Right. A couple bad apples, but so many good ones. And then that actually is so important because back in the day when they were getting multiple offers, when they see your name, it helps.
Makes a difference.
They're
Yes.
like, oh, I want to work with Jolie. Let's try, or like, hey,
She
if
gets the
she's-
job done. She's a pleasure
Exactly.
to work with.
If she's writing it, they are fully pre-approved. So the relationships are everything. And especially now as we move into these weird new legislator,
Changes.
oh gosh.
What do you think about the changes in real estate, and how do you oversee what's going to happen with real estate?
I think that they're ridiculous, and it's just my opinion. I think my clients have also the maybe 4 or 5 listing appointments I've been on since the legislation has changed. They're like, anyways, it's business as usual. If we don't offer compensation, no one's going to show the
I'm
house.
listening. Exactly. Yeah.
So my sellers are savvy, and we're all still going on as business as usual. I have worked with a buyer or two since the changes, and again, this is where personal relationships come in.
Makes difference.
You call them up, hey, are you guys compensating? What are you? And then you like have this trust because you know that's a reputable realtor. But there a couple of times they're doing this weird ego. Here comes the ego. Well,
we cannot disclose it. Or
we
something.
can't disclose it, or depends on your offer. And it's like, come on, let's just.
Seriously, just
We have a buyer who
I'm
wants
trying
to
to
buy.
sell your seller's listing here. Can
Exactly.
you just come on?
No ego, please. So I'm seeing that. I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming from it. I think there'll be a lot of issues, and I think they're already starting. Actually,
Yeah.
I've heard things with the DOJ starting. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I am going to be as transparent as possible. People know that to be my, method of business, and I'm going to keep going.
We just tweak with the changes.
That's right.
But what we do doesn't change. Basically.
Well, the whole premise of that is that they didn't think that there was a lot of transparency. Well, this actually causes less transparency.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where we can't disclose what's being paid, and you can't say a seller didn't know they were paying. It was on the first page of the contract. So I don't know about all that. I think we'll just have to well, we don't have much of a choice, do we?
We do not, for sure.
So we have to just roll with it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, speaking about, the changes and, your Wild Palms business, I know you have a series of bus babes, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would love to hear about it. So how did you guys
Okay.
put it together? Tell me about it.
So I have often been approached through my social media. I actually had a really, really big following of social media, but I had a stalker that came to my house at 3 a.m. I had the police, all of the things. And so I got so frightened that I had put myself out there so much that maybe somebody had, found out where I live, whatever. And so I removed so many of those followers that I had grown organically. Anyways, through my social media, I will get oftentimes producers reach out to me. I had a producer reach out to me and say, going to be shooting a show similar to $1 Million Listing down in the desert. I want only one female lead and the rest boys. Will you come, guys? Will you come interview? So I interviewed. It was really awkward, but I was just myself, here I am. And he didn't like anybody else, the story for anybody else but just me. So he said, everyone can go and you need to stay. He loved my come up story of having, growing up pretty poor and working my little hiney off.
The accomplishments you had.
Yeah. And he said, Jolie, what is a goal of yours? And I said, well, I would love to open an all women's brokerage. I love the support of women. And so he's like, all right, that's our show. We want to, find some women, some dynamic women from all different kinds of brokerages. And so I was like, okay. So I started grabbing women and I would interview with them and they'd be like, no, not her. She can't talk on camera, or yeah, her, And so we got this group going and we started to shoot and film. We got a contract, but there's a similar show out there, as you know, Selling Sunset. And the direction of the producer's image in his head was going to be very like that, like soap opera, very drama. And I was highly concerned about that because I want to be taken seriously. And if you know a little bit about TV, a lot of that stuff is fake.
Yes.
And highly, highly not scripted but prompted. And so they wanted to do a drama-based show. Yeah. And what if you're at the mercy when you sign those contracts? You are at the mercy of how they want.
Dictate what you want.
You
they
could
want
be the villain. So say I had who come to my show, whatever. They could make you as the psycho.
Yeah.
And then the masses don't understand that that's not real.
Yes.
So they think you really are the crazy one, and that could affect businesses.
Of course, your image, because you have a good reputation and you don't want it to be ruined because you want to be famous.
Right.
And, yeah.
You have to decide, do you want to be famous or do you want to keep doing real estate?
Yeah, be very genuine.
Because you can get death threats, all of the things. Because people really believe what they see.
Who needs more drama?
I know.
Seriously, we are already dealing with
it's
on a
what
day-to-day
I call
basis.
Power of perception is real. So you can perceive yourself online as this top dog and you really sell one house a year. So it's and then also you can perceive yourself as a psycho and be a really good church going folk, so I canceled that contract. We had shot a sizzle and everything, and he was like, sign, and I said, let me see the sizzle. Let me see how you portrayed us, because in the interview it was like, do you like that person really, or do you really like doing real estate, that kind of stuff. And I was like, hang on. And I was the mama of the girls. And so I was like, you guys, and there was girls who got really mad at me because I was actually protecting them. And then, they wanted to be famous no matter what they looked like on camera. And I was like, you guys, this is really important. Some of you have children. And so I scrapped it. And then from there, now another producer comes along and another producer comes along. So I try not to overstep and say, this is how I want to be perceived. But I do think that there is something where we should have a show that shows the real side of real estate. Yes. We walk in and it's not, here I am in my Gucci and my Prada and the house is fantastic and all this stuff. Oh no, we're stepping in poop. There's a squatter sometimes. I've walked in, it looks like Dexter's House, the show, with knives and masks and blood. Oh yeah, I've seen it all. Look like a dead body. I've seen stuff with dead bodies. So, but wouldn't that be interesting? That's the real side of real estate. So wouldn't you? I'd watch it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, our heels get broken. We're hot. We're sweaty. Showing August properties, and we're like melting
The real
off.
stories. Yeah, definitely.
So that's something that they're still talking about doing, but there's a lot of stuff. There was Netflix interest, and then there was this interest, and then there was layoffs and all this. So that stuff takes a really long time. Then the producers shot a sizzle, and then they all got together and said, we don't want anybody. We just want you and your daughter now to be a mother-daughter flipper show. And so it's like, how do you tell the girls that? And so anyways, we were under contract with them, the same people that did Flipper Flop.
Okay.
So we're still talking, but
lots of things in the air that you.
there's still stuff in the works. We're with a really big agency in LA now, but if something happens, great. I just want to be authentic. I'm not trying to be a movie star. You know, if somebody wants to follow me around and learn about the real side of real estate, I'll do it. You know,
I love
so
it.
other than that, I gotta pay my bills. So I gotta keep doing what I know.
I know. What are the common mistakes that you see that the real estate agents are doing, and what was your biggest mistake that you can say is a big no-no?
Yeah, so I actually made a big mistake when I was in my first or second year, maybe my first. And I hope other people will learn from this because I am still seeing people doing it, and it cost me a lot of money. So I was new. I was putting my baby and my fiance in the car. We're gonna go have a nice family day. I got the phone call. You know how that is.
You just drop everything and
You
go?
drop everything. So it was somebody I knew saying, "Hey, can you help my friends? They have a realtor. They don't feel like they're being heard, and it's not a good match. And can you help them?" And I was like,
Which
"Sure."
happens all the time.
Yeah, nothing was signed with them, so sure. I, was like, "You guys, let's just still have our day. Just wait for me in the car." I felt so guilty. It's all about balance, right?
Yes.
All about balance. And so I listened to what they wanted. I found what they wanted. We were in the house for a very long time. My fiance was like, "Hello." So here's where I made a mistake. I called the listing agent and I discussed the price and terms on the phone. And you should never do that. And here's why. I said, and they were so excited, like, "We're going to offer this and this." And I was excited because, again, it was my first expensive deal.
Okay.
And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to make an offer. We're going to make it, this price. Don't even bother. Don't even write that offer. My sellers would never take it," pushing the personal opinion on me. And I was like, oh, you could just see my balloon just deflating. And so I went back to the client and I said, "Oh, she said that we shouldn't write it and that's too low. And so, let's see."
How low was it? Like, do you remember?
I think it was like listed at 740 and I wanted to maybe like 715. It wasn't that low.
It is not bad at all. I would take that offer right now.
Well, and it was like, so they said, "Well, go home and sleep on it." I didn't hear from them. I tried, didn't hear from them. Next thing you know, they went back to the first realtor, had them write it for that low price, and they took it. And my heart was so broken. So I called the listing agent and go, "Hey, what happened?"
How come? Like, you just told me that.
She's like, "I'm so sorry. We didn't know he would take it." And I was like, first of all, as you know, it's not the agent's opinion. We as realtors are required to present all offers,
Exactly.
irregardless of what we think of them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
"Oh, I just didn't know. It was a rookie mistake. I was excited and I kind of knew the agent and everything. I should have written the offer." People should not talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just put it in writing.
You're right.
Here you go. Talk
Yes.
about it after.
Yeah.
But don't do it beforehand. And then, like, literally, I called the realtor that got the deal and I was like, "Hi. I'm procuring cause. I sold your clients, who were going to be my clients, that house. So will you do a referral?" Guess
did
what
she
he
say?
said?
No.
"I'll give you a gift card to Chili's." I was like, "You can take your cheeseburger
I know.
and you know what with it." I
what
was
to do with
so upset. And I was just thinking about it over and over and over. And I'm like, this is so
You know what?
jacked
Honestly,
up.
I don't think you did a mistake, because the thing is, we can communicate a lot of things on the phone with the agent, so we can save some time to our clients.
I know.
But what you could have done is, regardless of what he says, maybe encouraging the client, "You know what? I don't care about what he's saying.
I
At
know.
the end of the day, we want to put it in writing, and the seller is the one who's going to make the decision."
Yeah, or maybe not even going back. Talking to the selling agent, and not even relaying the negative reaction to the client and keeping it positive.
Exactly.
Okay, let's write it up.
That is something that I want to ask you. So, like, how do you bring the bad news to your clients? Like, what is your attitude? How do you
Okay, well,
deliver it?
I shelter them a lot now after something like that. I try to keep everything very, very positive. With being honest, I don't think they need to know,
The detail
the
or
details are like, ew, they hate your granite, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
You got to be like, oh, they want to do a couple changes or whatever. You have to be a buffer
Yes.
between parties.
I think it's a great tip. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I could to share that story with people, do less of talking and put more things on paper in writing, and then talk about it once it's submitted, because they don't have a choice. They have to submit it.
Exactly. They have to present it no
That's
matter
right.
what.
That's right.
I love that.
That was a costly mistake.
I
$23,000 commission, and that was a
I
lot for a
know.
single mama at the time. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
So, so you have come a long way. What is Jolie Liedekkers' future plans? Like, what is ahead of the? What are you seeing? Where are you seeing yourself?
I will always sell real estate, honestly. I love what I do, and now I have shifted into, I like to see a future with me continuing to flip. I love to see the beauty in things and the potential. Like, I just walk in and I'm like, gosh, if this house had no wall right here, or if we arched this, if we did that, I love to see. And I also give that vision to my clients. I'm always saying, like, hey, let's just open up this wall. I'll help give you some advice. Let me give you my contractor. Like, I try to just sell the vision of what things could
Can be done.
Yeah. So I'll always sell real estate. Maybe I will one day open my own all women's brokerage. I love that idea, and like lifting each other up. Who knows if
It's a great idea.
yeah, who knows if a show will come or not. I'm not trying to do it. It just keeps trying to come to me. And if it's, again, showing women in a positive light, I'm all about that. But I'll always do real estate. I hopefully will continue to grow. I hit my first record a couple years ago. I sold 33 million by myself. I'm just a one-woman show. I don't have a team or anything. So that was a lot
That
for
is
me.
a big accomplishment.
For just a one gal, it was
and,
not bad.
and you don't have an assistant even. Oh my god.
I don't even do the chat GPT.
I know. Yeah, we just talked about the chat GPT, so
I'm scared of the AI.
I
I just like,
So what are the things that is gonna make, in a good and bad way, about the life of a real estate agent in the future with all this technology and all the changes? What do you think?
I don't like it. I'm old school. I'm literally from like another era. I'm a 50s girl. Like I like interpersonal relationships. I like people. And I don't know if the AI is gonna, I mean, they're already trying to take AI to the acting level, like, and replace actors. So like, will they replace us realtors one day?
Yeah.
So I think there's a place for it and a need for it on a certain like level, but we've been fine this whole time without it. Like, why do we need it?
And
really?
you know what? I think the one of the biggest thing that an AI cannot replace us, in a way that the human connection and the touch, an AI will never, like, even humans cannot do it. Like, not all the agents are like you, right?
Right.
Like the people like your care and the way
Yeah.
you approach to them. So I
Yeah.
think it's irreplaceable.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to be jumping up and down handing keys to somebody, or like, I mean, I go way too far on my stuff. I literally paint people's houses. It's ridiculous. My photographer was 20 minutes early. I had paint in my eyebrows, eyelashes, and I'm like, you got to go do the drone. I'm not ready yet. And he's like, what are you doing? But will ChatGPT and AI do that? No.
No, they will not.
No, they won't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm old school. I don't like it.
And you don't mind doing over and beyond for your clients, which is great.
I don't rest on my laurels. I got a lot of grit, and I like to work hard. I will go like day 2, no shower or anything. I'm like, but your house is gonna look great.
I know. I promise that, like, no matter how stinky I am, your house is going to look great. Yeah.
I'll eat it another day, and I'll shower another day. Yeah,
I love it.
It's
I
just
love
what
it.
you have to do. I feel like you either have it or you don't in real estate. You have to have a passion for it. People get into it for the money. But as you know, a lot of realtors don't make it, a lot of their first year or so. It's full of disappointment, but it's also so rewarding. So It just depends. I feel like everybody should just find what they are good at and just do it, and don't think about it. Try it. Don't push it. If it's a square peg in a round hole, it's just you're gonna that'll translate into your inner dealings with your clients. They're gonna feel that it's awkward and that it's forced or whatever. So
So true.
yeah.
So true. I love it. I love it. Jolie, thank you so much for coming to my very first Closers Club podcast today.
Oh my gosh, it is an honor. Thank you, especially for you. I am a fan of Ahu. We've done deals before. It's always been a pleasure.
Same here.
And I know that you're asking the questions today, but you're a baddie yourself. And I'm a fan.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You are
Thank you.
welcome.